Having departed from Tromso, north of the Arctic Circle, we set off on a journey that would see us turn east and follow the northern coast of Europe. This would take me to the North Cape, and our final stop on this northern journey to the town of Kirkenes, the closest I will probably come to the Russian border. This third phase of the northern journey is named the northern tip of Europe.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, I guess, and also welcome to Tromso, up past the Arctic Circle on the Norway coast. I am in Tromso because I am travelling on Havila Voyages journey from Bergen to Kirkenes and then from Kirkenes back to Bergen. This is the third phase of the northern part of the voyage. The third phase of the voyage is called the northern tip of Europe, and once we pull out of Tromso it will actually get us all the way to Kirkenes. If you want to see the other two legs or phases or whatever we're calling them today, they will have been published on the channel and I'll put them in the description to this video. The other two phases of the northern journey have been absolutely phenomenal, so I have pretty high expectations of the third leg. We'll see how it turns out, but first thing we have to do in an hour or so is pull out of Tromso. So if you want to know two of the key attractions I didn't do in Tromso, one is the cathedral, which sits, that's it. The other is the cable car, which is hovering around there. I'm sure they're great, I just wasn't up for them today. Spent an hour talking to someone completely over my dinner slot. I mean, it was good conversation. I've met them a few times, but I've completely missed my dinner slot. Let's see what happens about that. They sorted me for dinner. It did cause a bit of fuss, but in a well-meaning way, and the service was a bit slower, I think because I was like some alien being in the schedule. But they did do it. Very good, very helpful. Great service as usual. But yeah, be on time, I think, is the answer. I hope we get blue skies and stuff coming southward. I say that because I don't need them. It's been quite fun seeing the Norwegian mist and rain and that sort of Viking type weather, right? But these blue skies we're getting now are pretty cool, and it'd be good to see everything under a different light. Anyway, gonna stay up 10:10, watch the next sailing, and then go to bed, I think. We'll see. Sometimes things change. Every time we see a thin spot between mountains or land, I always hope we go directly through it. That is it. It is 10:30. I'm calling it a day. North Cape tomorrow. One of the main events of this leg, or phase. And then at Kirkenes, people are starting to say it's 29 degrees. What the hell's going on there? Anyway, see you tomorrow. Morning. Passed another Hurtigruten ship this morning, with the unique position that it was actually sitting on the dock we wanted. So today's interesting because the North Cape excursion sits right over lunch. So I've had a hearty breakfast, I missed lunch. And then when we get back they're feeding us some smaller affair of soup and bread or something, I don't know. So we'll find out what that is. But that's what they do, they occasionally rearrange lunch slightly and things like that around the excursion. Yeah, today is crazily warm. It seems to be getting warmer the further north we go. Okay, strange observation of the day. Well, maybe not that strange. Some of the crew on the ship are as hot as hell. And I'm not distinguishing between the genders there, I have to say. Okay, so I did rush breakfast to see that port, but I do like seeing the port. Next time it'll be about in 2 hours' time where we actually stop where I get off to go and see the North Cape.
I thought I heard you, or was it just the wind? I thought I saw it. Was it all a dream? Breathe in, breathe out, release.
There's a bunch of stuff in the building which I have a ticket for. I'm more interested in the outside. Now the process is to follow the people who seem to have got closer to the edge. There was another edge over that side, which I'm going to try and get to as well. So that globe at the end there is the main thing everyone wants their photo taken with. Don't think I'm even going to fight for that. This is the interesting spot because the fence is gone. You can literally just walk off the edge if you were so inclined. Making my way around to the globe of where tourists go to die. This is why I'm bad at YouTube, because I should be fighting for my thumbnail there, right? Okay, I'm going to say something that might annoy people watching this video, and will certainly annoy certain people maybe on this Havila voyage. Has anyone watching this been to Cornwall? Because if you have, you will see things exactly like you're seeing here, but you didn't have to leave the UK. I mean, obviously the location's different. This is the northernmost point in Europe or whatever. But in terms of the scenery, it's pretty much Cornwall, I have to say. And once you accept it's pretty much Cornwall, you then also have to accept it's pretty much some sections of the North York coast route as well, which is 90 minutes away from me. And I only say this not because I'm disappointed I've come. This is fantastic, I love it, really glad I'm here. But it is another one of those things where you go, UK people, think about the things that are a lot closer to you. That's all I'm saying. That is all I am saying. Wish me luck, people. If I get a gust of wind and I go off the edge, it'll be recorded for prosperity. And yeah, before anyone says anything, my camera's low, I'm looking out with my eyes and I'm not being stupid. Okay, I'm in a secure spot at what I'm calling Phase 1 of this minor expedition. Phase 2 is, do I dare, wait for it, go for the gram. Let's see. Putting the camera in its safe position. Here we go. Yeah. he goes. Actually, it's not too bad. I wouldn't do this on a very windy day. This weather is very warm, light breeze. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. Okay, here we go. Boom. I did it, folks. I got to the gram spot. Strangely, there's not many takers. There you go. So a bit like a lot of these locations, a bit like Land's End. It has an epic car park. Getting around steps in, nearly at 5k. Now I'm going to go inside. I figure I should use this ticket I've been given and investigate what mysteries remain for me to find 3 floors down. Hey, I'm in. There you go. This is what the ticket gets me. Go down a few floors. Okay. Seem to be on 3. There didn't seem to be much on offer on 2. A bit confusing. Here we go. This way. This is clever. It's a bit like the top of Europe, where the walkway is also a history exhibit. Very clever. Used to have to, for buses and roads, you used to have to climb the mountain to get in. Apparently an experience of 6 minutes. Let's go to the King's View. I'm never really that keen on watching films. Ah, this is that area I saw people in earlier. Haha. Now the weird thing about this viewpoint is there's much better ones up top where you don't need the ticket. That was a bit strange, but still. If I had the luggage space, definitely get a troll. Then, some people walk out of that centre, go straight to that globe, and don't get much further. Here's the thing, you can get to everything here without paying, unless there's a charge for the car. That I'm not sure of at the minute. Without going into that building, that's what you need the money for. So the question is, if I'd come here independently, would have I paid to enter that building? If I had, I'd have been a bit annoyed with myself. Because I come for the scenery, not what you see in that building. Now, one minor point. If paying to go into that building is paying for the upkeep of the overall tourist area, I'd gladly pay it. But for what's in the building itself, wouldn't bother. What? Is that actual hiking route? From here to Italy? If that's a thing, that's crazy. And here a drone. Almost certainly not allowed. Okay, so as you can see, a full pan. There's the artwork I think I visited first. You can basically just walk around the building. The only thing sectioned off by the ticket is literally what's in the building itself. So there you go. Come and see the views. Pay for the historical stuff and cafe and things like that in the building if you want. Or if that ticket also supports the area, pay anyway. Certainly happy to do that. But the ticket is just for access to the building if you're particularly concerned. Okay, final verdict. And then I'm just going to have a amble around. Should you come to the North Cape? Yes. It's the northernmost point in Europe. You have to say you've done it. The drive up is nice. It is worth coming up. The scenery's brilliant. The only thing I would say is if you're familiar with, say, Cornwall or the North York, Muirs coastal path and stuff like that, you've seen this type of scenery before, right? So if you're intimately familiar with those environments, don't expect anything grandly new that you haven't seen. But the journey here, the fact you're at the northernmost point in Europe, yeah, do it. Also, the key points I would say are if you come out of the car park, just give me a second, if you come out the car park and come to this artwork and then walk straight down to here, you get to a point around there where there's no fence, which is pretty cool. And then almost directly opposite on the other side is that sort of pinnacle that I walked out on. Sort of like, you know, one of those crazy Instagram spots where people much younger than myself would go right to the edge. I think those are the two key points. Now obviously the Globe of Death, where tourists go to die, is the key tourist photo point. But I'd say the two I'd mentioned are better. And I'm back at, here we go, nose boop, 2:45. We're going to pull out any second. So I'm probably going to miss the sail out, but I have to get changed. It is crazy out there. The rumours that we're going to face 29 degrees at the last port, Kirkenes, I can well believe. I mean, it is warm out there. It is crazy. Anyway, I had my late lunch, which was a cup of soup and a slither of bread. I mean, look, I am not starving on this experience by any stretch of the imagination, but that was a pretty weak effort just to say that you hadn't missed lunch. Anyway, dinner is still on at 6:30, so it's not the end of the world. But anyway, I have to get changed. This is just way too hot for long trousers. A lot more scenery for you, but as usual I bumped into someone that I keep talking to. There's a group of people I keep talking to on the cruise. Bumped into one of those, so I ended up talking to them for about 9 minutes. Which also meant I missed the sailing at the last port. But hey, it's not all about content for this video, right? I'm enjoying myself, that's what it's about. This is just a byproduct. 7:20. I've had lunch, very nice, dinner, very nice as usual. Just pulling out of a port that'll be on screen. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. But we are now over the top of Norway and effectively travelling eastward, which is pretty impressive. Thinking of doing a late one tonight and maybe catching the ports through the night. You only live once, right? You never know. Let's see what happens. It is 20 to 10 and we're coming up on the next port at 10 o'clock. That is Berlevag. I've probably pronounced that wrong. The seas are rocking a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, the sea has never been remotely rough. But as you can see, it's just a little bit more than flat. And when the sea is a little bit more than flat, which usually happens when there isn't really any inlets on the other side, so you're exposed to the sea, you can feel it rocking. Like that, moving backwards and forwards, which I find pretty cool, but just be aware of that. Yeah, it doesn't take much to throw this boat around it. I can tell why if they get really bad weather, they just hold in port and wait it out. I can see why. I mean, these seas are just the natural undulation of the waves, and you can feel it shifting.
absolutely missed it. It's only because they started blaring horns at each other that I realised they were passing. Okay, that's another one down. The next one is Batsfjord at midnight. I think I'll definitely make that one. Then the next one after that is Vado at 3 in the morning. Let's see what happens. You can see we've still got a slight sunset effect. I am curious how long that stays for. While at the same time, I don't think I'm going to make it till 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to come outside again because I was in the observation deck, and there's still people in there, by the way, a small amount. And the undulation of the ship and the warmth was just like but it is absolutely gorgeous out here. I mean, I think the sceneries took a bit of a turn for, I don't know, it feels a bit mundane put to what we've seen coming north. I think once you bridge the north and you turn east across the top, I mean, don't get me wrong, the scenery's nice, but it's all relative, right? I don't know, it's a bit crazy to say that what we're seeing now seems a bit boring in comparison, but that maybe says more about what we've experienced so far than what I'm seeing now. But yeah, I would say coming across the top, I don't know, it's alright, but based on our epic journey north, it is just a bit, it's nice. But anyway, I'm going to see the town at midnight, reevaluate, but I don't think I'm going to make it to 3. But I tell you, ambling the deck at midnight in this sort of like permanent sunset light may keep me up just a little bit longer. It's pretty cool. That might be it for me today. We'll see. You'll find out in the next section. Some port-to-port people did get on, which was interesting. 12 o'clock midnight. I am slightly curious if hardcore photo guy is up at 3 AM taking photos. Part of me is curious. But yeah, I'm very tired, so it probably won't happen. And we are floating, sailing, however you want to define it, into Kirkenes, the last stop of the northern part of the voyage. It's been fantastic, I'll just say that. I am a bit tired. I'm glad I didn't stay up till 3 AM this morning. I have a headache on this side of my head. Don't know what's going on there. Hoping it's just lack of sleep maybe, and not an aneurysm. But yeah, the last stop, I don't think it's the northernmost. I think obviously some of them are a bit more northern. But 25 to 28 degrees. What the hell's going on there?
The sun melts the ice around my skin. The air
This is where I wanna be. This is why I'm breathing. This is where I wanna sleep. This is why I'm dreaming. This is where I'm free to be. This is where I let myself grow.
All the tours neatly organised and prepared as usual. I have found that very well organised, I have to admit. But I'm out on my own walk. It's been interesting how different each of the longer stops is, and I'm going to say this, hey, anyone from Norway watching this, I've probably made thousands of mistakes about pronunciations and also what each town is actually like, because I'm whistle stopping 2 to 3 hours just going completely off vibes, right? So I apologise in advance. It was interesting how Tromso was the one I felt. You always get loads of caravans and motorhomes, which is cool. Anyway, yeah, Tromso was always the one I felt had engaged with the tourism, right? For good or bad. You know, it had that sort of bit of a mountain town sort of vibe, but with a bit catering for tourists in its high street and that, which, positives, negatives, this feels, how I describe it. And again, when I say these things, I never mean it in a negative. This feels a bit more like a working town, right, for more industrial endeavours. I think there's a mine over there. As I said, vibes. May have it completely wrong. You've got quite a port stroke industrial area to walk through. Yeah, 5-8 minutes, something like that, before you get to what looks like living space. Bumped into some fellow British people who've done the sensible thing and gone into that tourist office and got a small map. Definitely the sensible thing to do, because it's such a quaint little place. It's not even signposted with like Centrum signs and things like that. So yeah, we checked in with them and we're heading the right way. There you go. So even though we probably walked, I don't know, give me a second, 10 minutes maybe from the port, that's the first Centrum sign. So it does leave you a bit confused momentarily. Yeah, this is a interesting winding route through the suburbs. So, no matter what the area looks like, normally if you hit a church-like building, you're not too far away from what counts as the centre. Wow, this place is fascinating. It is not set up, which is fine. You don't have to be right. But this place is not set up for visitors at all. Even the occasional map you get doesn't even have a "you are here" pointer on it. So even though you get a map of the town, they don't even put "you are here" to tell you where you are in relation to everything. Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not designed to be impenetrable. It's just designed to be lived in by the people who live here, right? They don't have to cater to me, but it is fascinating. I mean, for want of help and better geography, I assume this is maybe the main street? I honestly don't know, and I truly apologise to the people who live here. Fascinating. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much walked it end to end, because there's the industrial area you could see from the ship. Wow. Fascinating. I mean, great. Don't get me wrong. It reminds me of that place in Iceland, which I'm not going to remember the name of, that we stopped at, and obviously it wasn't geared up for, you know, a resort-based tourist ship at all. And it was fascinating just to see a place where people just lived and got on with life, right? And now obviously over time in that case, because they were getting visited by a ship of 4,000 people, they intended to bring online tourist stuff, and you could tell they were doing that. Obviously this, since the Havila Voyages is really a ferry with a service deliver beyond just the people on it, treating it like a cruise, this place doesn't necessarily have to do that. But it is fascinating. Obviously some festival or event going on, hasn't kicked into gear yet. I mean, I have to keep in mind, it isn't even 10 o'clock yet on a weekend, you know, but yeah, there's obviously some sort of event on. There's not much going on currently in the town. I'm going to get down to the waterfront, see what's going on there. You do occasionally see, which I did know from reading up I did, that occasionally you get the signposts in both Norwegian and Russian, which is fascinating, because I think we're a handful of kilometres or less from the Russian border. So I can safely say this will be the closest I've got to Russia probably in my lifetime. A nice hotel back there with a lovely veranda area looking out to the sea and the islands, but right next to an industrial area though. I think it's interesting, it's that much of a working town, you're never that far away from where the work's being done. I did want to show you some of the houses that were in the estate agents I passed, but the reflection in the window meant you weren't really seeing the adverts. But obviously there was adverts for houses there that were just a little bit out into the country, and wow, they were like these glorious, you know, multi-floored cabins with all the mod cons. Very, very nice, but a lot of money. Here's how crazy small everything is, right? That's the church, right, that I took as my sign. Oh, I must be near the centre, it's a church. But I walked past where those cars are and the Joker supermarket and people setting up for whatever event's going on. That is the actual centre. Something else for perspective. All of that stuff I walked through from the dock and then through the housing area. So the housing area, I came out here, and here's the main streets. But you can already see the tower for the industrial side at the other end. Fascinating and very small. You feel like some sort of salt of the earth, industrial working man drama should take place here. A bit like you get when people do them for like New Jersey. It's like someone's picked up a sliver of New Jersey, and actually that's probably a load of bollocks, but you know what I mean about the salt of the earth working man thing. It is amazing. Interesting fact from a tour that I've just passed, that I'm not on. That there is the exit from the bunker. I assume a World War II bunker. I didn't hang around long enough for his speech. But yeah, if there's two exits, it's possibly not the smallest of bunkers. making my way back through the residential area. Not sure I'm exactly taking the... No, I'm definitely not. Because I don't remember that roundabout. So I'm definitely not taking exactly the same route back. I've got plenty of time. So cross my fingers. Wow. See how everything differs. On one side you've got the mine, you've got then the town centre and it's small sort of way, and then you've got these, I mean, let's face it, idyllic residential areas. Wow. Oh, crap. Hope I'm going the right way. Got out the Google Maps. I wasn't going the right way. I'm still not going the right way. What the hell? Okay, needed to turn a different way at that roundabout. So, I need to turn right here. I would have never suspected that without Google. This is what I love though. Nothing like wandering in a place and getting slightly lost. As long as you've got plenty of time, of course. It's just crazy. I don't know, you feel a bit more part of everything if you just get a bit lost. Handy thing is, as long as you can see the water on your left, probably not going too far wrong. Damn it. I can see the water, but there's no way to cut across. I have to back out of this whole lane. Damn it. You have to see this roundabout yet. I needed to turn right, but not the first right, the second right. Yeah, was that? Here we go. That's better. Ah, that's correct. So there's the first Centrum sign I found. Yeah. This is it. Whew. There you go. Port sign. Yeah, was that? Okay, so not everyone will have this experience, you know, so just take it as a general advisory. This lovely idyllic set of residential areas, it's a bit of a rabbit warren. So if you haven't totally mentally mapped the route you took in, you may go down the odd cul-de-sac or go the wrong way. So keep an eye on Google Maps. Don't cut it fine if you're not sure. Because yeah, I got a bit lost there, which was an adventure and fun, but wouldn't have been if I had only had 10 minutes to get to the ship or something. There she blows. There she blows. Have to say, I realise Havila have the advantage of new ships. They're all about 3 years old or less. But the Hertogrutten ships just look a bit more like working ships. While the Havila ones, with being new, I've managed to design them on the basis of, yes, we're a ferry, but we're also a cruise. And we've merged the two into the design and they look pretty swanky. Okay, since I'm heading back to the ship, I'm going to use this opportunity to end the northern part of the voyage. It has been absolutely phenomenal. I questioned when I got on the ship in the first video for the first leg whether even for me this would be, you know, there's introvert experiences and then there's introvert experiences. And there is some truth to that. The ship is like a floating library or a serene coffee shop, in the sense that people are doing activities that they would do in those environments, you know, reading, talking in hushed tones, playing board games, you know, whatever, right? You get the idea. And then there's lots of scenery, there's breakfast, lunch and dinner, which I won't go into in these videos, but I will do a full-on, you know, video about it in the guide theme of my channel, about what it's like and who's it suitable for. But I found it absolutely phenomenal. Now what's going to be interesting is, even though this ends the northern part, I'm now going to do the southern part on the way back. So I'm intrigued whether that's different or whether it's a step too far. You know, I'm always questioning myself. We see different things during the day, while before we saw them during the night. So I am interested in how that turns out. But if you want my final opinion on the northern bound leg from Bergen to Kirkenes, absolutely fantastic, loved it. And join me for the southern journey, which will either be part of one big playlist, or I might split them into a north playlist and a south playlist, in case people are interested in the specific ones. But it's been great.